Welcome to my YouTube channel Math Sikshak. In this presentation, I will be introducing sets. The theory of sets was developed by George Cantor and now it is being used in all branches of mathematics. A set is a collection of objects that have something in common. Sets are usually denoted by curly braces with elements separated by commas. At the end of this presentation, you will be able to understand the term set, interpret the meaning of element, represent sets in different forms, and explain the different mathematical terms. So what is a set? It is a collection of distinct objects that have something in common. In other words, a set is a collection of well-defined objects. Now, what do I mean by well-defined? Well-defined means that it must be absolutely clear to us which object will belong to the set and which object will not belong to the set. So, let me explain to you this with example. Considering example 1, can we find any link between all the elements here? Do they have any feature that is common? No. Now when I consider example 2, I can see that all these belongs to the fruits. Therefore, they are all fruits. Hence, it is well defined because I can say that all the members of the fruits will belong to this set. Now, let us try to understand the various mathematical terms that we use in sets. First one is the element. Now, this is a set of various mathematical shapes. Now, what do we mean by element? Every member of the set is called as an element. So, a square belongs to the set. Square is an element of the set. A circle belongs to the set. So, the circle is an element of this set. So, all the members of the set are called as elements. A set can be described in a number of different ways. So, let us see how we can describe the different members of the sets. We can describe it in statement form, in tabular form, and in set builder form. Beginning with, let me explain to you the points that need to be kept in mind while representing sets in statement form. In this, the set is well defined. So, well-defined description of the sets of the set are given and they are enclosed in curly brackets. Let me explain to you this with an example. I am considering a set A, that is, set of prime numbers less than 10. So, I have well defined the set as I am telling that it consists of all prime numbers less than 10 and I have enclosed it in curly brackets. Now, what are the points that we need to remember while representing them in statement form? First point, it always needs to be indicated in capital letters. Now, what do I mean by this? Set A is set of prime numbers less than 10. So, I have written set A in capital form. So, always the set that I indicate needs to be written in capital letters. And the statements that we give should be very clear and specific. As I've told, set of prime numbers less than 10. So, I'm very specific to what numbers I require and what is the range. Proceeding further on, let me explain to you about tabular form. Here, we list out the elements, and when we list out the elements, we separate it by comma. Tabular form is also called as roster form. For example, W represents the set of even numbers less than 10. So we write it as W is equal to, we put them within brackets, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. And this is how we write it in tabular form. So in tabular form, we list out the elements that belongs to the set. 2 belongs to W. 2 is an element of W. So when we write it mathematically in set notation form, we write it as 2 belongs to W. Since 10 is not a member of the set, we write it as 10 does not belong to W. Now, let us try to understand what are the points that we need to keep in mind while listing them in tabular form. The order of listing is immaterial. So we can list out the elements as 0, 2, 4, 6, or we can even change the order 2, 4, 0, 6. So the order does not matter when we list out the elements for a set. But we must keep in mind that whichever element we are writing should not be repeated. And why is this very helpful? Because it helps us to see all the members of the set. Therefore, coming to conclusions becomes easier. Proceeding further on, let me explain to you how to represent a set in set builder form. In this, we usually write the rule. And when we write the rule, we put them within brackets. And the element is always described by using a variable x. Or any variable could be used. And that variable will always be followed by a colon. Colon depicts such that. So how do we read it as? Set A has elements x such that x belongs to natural numbers and x ranges between 6 to 8. So the element of set A will be 7. Therefore, set A is only having a single element. Since it is having a single element, set A is called as a singleton set. Proceeding further on, let us try to see what are the points that we need to remember. All the elements will have a single common property that is exclusive to all the elements of the set. Now let me summarize my presentation by quickly recalling the various mathematical terms that we have used in this presentation. When we say it does not belong to the set, how do we depict? Belongs to the set, what do we mean by that? What do we mean by an element? What do we mean by an empty set? What do we mean by an infinite set? So when we say an empty set, it means there is no element in that set. When we say an infinite set, it means that there are many numbers. Representation becomes difficult. And singleton set, as I've always told you, it means that it just consists of a single element. So these are some of the terms that we use in sets. For any suggestion, feedback or queries, please contact us at mathsikshak@gmail.com. Please subscribe the channel. For any clarification, you can mail us at mathsikshak@gmail.com. Thank you for watching this video.